Hey guys, and welcome back to Crouton Cracker Jacks. Today I'm going to show you how to make baked jalapeno poppers. The same great taste that you get when you deep fry them, but by baking them, A, it's a heck of a lot quicker, B, it's a lot easier, and C, it's a heck of a lot less messy. And they're a little bit lighter on the calories too, so these are super easy to make, so let's get started. I'm going to start off making my filling, and in a medium bowl here I've got 8 ounces of cream cheese that I've let come up to room temperature. I'm going to add in 4 strips of bacon that I've gone ahead and fried up, drained, let cool a little bit, and then chopped into little pieces. I'm also going to add in half of a cup of grated Kojak cheese. You could also use cheddar cheese if you wanted to, or Monterey Jack, that would be great. I'm going to add in a 1/4 teaspoon each of garlic powder and onion powder, as well as a few dashes of seasoned pepper, which I will put the recipe for down below in the description box. Using a spoon, I'm just going to mix these ingredients together. That's how quick it is to make up the filling. And now we can start working on our jalapenos. Now I've got 8 kind of largish size jalapenos here. I've gone ahead and washed those and dried them, and using a large knife, I'm just going to cut these right in half. And I'm going to try to, I know you can't see it real well, try to cut the stem in half as well, so each half has a little bit of stem there. That's going to help us later on. And then using a spoon, I'm going to go ahead and core these, get that center bit out with the seeds as well as the ribs inside the peppers. If you like your peppers or your poppers a little bit more spicy, you can leave the ribs in. That's where all the heat is. If you want them more mild, be sure and get all of that white stuff in there out. But I'm just going to go through and do that with all of my peppers. Now, if you have sensitive hands, be sure to wear gloves for this. And if you don't wear gloves, wash your hands really, really well after you get done with this, because those pepper oils, once they get on your hands, can be kind of hard to get off. So if you like to, go ahead and use a pair of gloves. I'm not going to worry about it here. But you just want to go ahead and get each of your pepper halves nice and clean on the inside. And then you want to go ahead and place those onto a cookie sheet, or in my case here, onto a pizza pan. And now we can start filling our pepper halves. Now I'm just going to use a spoon here, and I'm going to start stuffing these peppers. There's no real magic behind this, you know, it's just, you're just going to put the filling into the pepper half. Kind of mound up the filling just a little bit, and try and divide this out so you use all of the filling in all of your peppers. The worst thing is to, you know, get to the end and you have a pepper left and there's no more filling, or getting to the end and having a bunch of filling left. So try and divide it up as best you can. If you slightly mound up the filling, kind of overstuff them a little bit, usually that's good enough to where you have the right amount of filling in each pepper. You don't have any filling left over, you don't have any peppers left over. Now once you get all of your peppers filled up, this is what they will look like. And like I said, you shouldn't have any filling left over, of which I do not. So there you go. Now we can start working on breading these. I'm going to start off with an egg wash, of course. So in a small bowl, I'm just going to crack in a large egg, and I'm going to add in about maybe a teaspoon or so of water. And using a fork, I'm just going to mix this egg up a little bit. That water is going to help to break down the whites so your egg isn't, you know, snotty and you don't get those strings hanging off of your poppers that then you end up with scrambled eggs in your poppers, and no one wants that. So just go ahead and mix that well, and then set it off to the side. And then in a shallow bowl, I'm going to put in some fresh breadcrumbs. I have a separate video that shows how I make my own breadcrumbs. I'll go ahead and put a link to that in the description box below. I'm just going to put in maybe half a cup, 3/4 of a cup or so of breadcrumbs into my bowl. And now we can go ahead and bread our poppers. All I'm going to do is take each one of these poppers and I'm going to turn it upside down. And I'm going to put that egg only on the top of the pepper, only the cheese part. You don't want to do the whole thing, because then your breading is just going to get, it's going to be a mess. You only want to bread the very top. So go ahead and dip the top, the cheese part of your popper, into the egg, and then you want to dip it into the breadcrumbs. Now here you can see why I like leaving the stem on, so you have a nice little handle when you bread these. Otherwise it can get kind of messy. You can get lobster claw going on with the bread and the going back and forth between the breadcrumbs and the eggs, and it makes a mess. So leave the stem and the peppers here, and you want to go through and do this with all of your poppers. Just dip those right into the egg, and then into the breadcrumb, shake off the excess, and place it back onto your cookie sheet. Now, before we cook these, we're going to need to spray just a little bit of cooking spray onto the top of these, so that way they will brown up nicely. Use any kind of nonstick spray that you want, and just put a couple squirts on the top of each one of your poppers, and that's going to make sure that those breadcrumbs brown nice and get nice and golden brown. Without it, they're not going to brown. They're just going to dry out even more. And you want these to look nice and you want them to taste good. So use the nonstick spray. If you don't have nonstick spray, you can just take some vegetable oil and use your finger and pat some vegetable oil on the top of each one of these. And then you want to place these in a preheated 425-degree oven, and you want to bake these for between 10 and 12 minutes. Be sure and keep an eye on these at the end because the cheese will kind of melt out from the inside and spill out, and you don't want all your cheese to end up on the cookie sheet. You want them to stay inside your popper. So when you see the first sign of the cheese oozing, you want to go ahead and take them out of the oven. And when they come out of the oven, they should be nice and golden brown on top, just like these are. The cheese inside should be nice and melty and oozy and delicious. Go ahead and serve these up with some ranch dressing or whatever dressing is your favorite. And there you go. That's how easy it is to make homemade baked jalapeno poppers. No more worrying about deep frying anything and making a mess in the kitchen. These are super easy and they're a little bit healthier for you. So there you go. I hope you guys give this a try. If you like this video, be sure to give a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. Subscribe for more deliciousness and to keep up to date on all my latest videos. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next time.